Hey guys, it's Julia Papworth for Win Daily's Waiver Wire wins for week 13 of the fantasy football season. Be sure to find me on social media. I am at Julia Papworth. All right, let's get going. Let's start with quarterback. Waiver Wire this week is a little picked over. There's not tons of stuff to sort of target this week, especially next week. We have 6 teams going on a bye. So some of the people that you might be looking to pick up this week, you won't necessarily be able to play them next week. And if you are trying to get into the playoffs, that is important. So first off, we have quarterback Jordan Love. He is 52% rostered. He went 22 for 32 on Thanksgiving Day. He threw for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he ran for 39 yards. It was a big surprise seeing the Packers beat up on the Lions on Thanksgiving, and Jordan Love looked great. We don't know if this is sort of him taking the next step, and it's going to be kind of hard to tell until we see another game with him, but he is someone to keep your eye on. If you're desperate need of a quarterback, he is a decent pickup. They play Kansas City next week, and they will have to throw to keep up. Kansas City defense is pretty good, so that matchup is a little rough, but if you do need someone, you can kind of check out Jordan Love. One other quarterback that you might want to look at, again, like I said, not great selections here. Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh Steelers. He went 24 for 33, 278 yards, and he rushed for 5 yards. Yes, I know the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has been less than amazing, but they have a new offensive coordinator, and it kind of showed. They were humming on offense. Freiermuth had a great game. There's a lot more potential here. The Steelers play Arizona next week, which is a great matchup for quarterbacks as well. So you might want to pick it up. He's only 16% rostered if you need bye-week help. J. Dillon, Green Bay Packers. He did not have a great stat line. He only had 14 carries for 43 yards. He was 3 for 3 with 38 yards receiving. Aaron Jones was injured and he was out. And I kind of think it might be a multi-week injury with Aaron Jones. They haven't been super clear on it. But if Jones is out, Dillon will be the RB1. He also is nursing a groin injury, though, so keep an ear out on the practice reports to see what the situation is with Dillon. And they are still going to be splitting time between him and Taylor. They're going more towards Dillon. That is what the situation is. And again, it was an okay day. It wasn't fantastic. But if you have a chance to pick up an RB1 on any team, I'd go for it. Jeff Wilson Jr., Miami Dolphins, 17% rostered. He had 11 carries for 56 yards. He went 3 for 3 with 17 yards receiving. Devon Achane was out, so it was Raheem Mostert again leading the backfield, but Jeff Wilson came on there pretty good. Mostert had 20 carries. Wilson had 11 carries. I think if Achane is out again, and we kind of don't know what his situation is, McDaniel was kind of up in the air with a press conference today. We don't know where he stands. So I think you want to take a look at Jeff Wilson. He is a really good backup. If Mostert goes down to injury as well, he'd be potentially a league winner for you. And he's only 17% rostered. Talking about league winners and sort of just in cases, Rico Dowdle, this is the time that you kind of want to look at picking up backups, especially if you are for sure making it in the playoffs. Rico Dowdle is only 12% rostered. Cowboys backup to Tony Pollard. He only had 3 carries for 11 yards this week. He did have a touchdown. Again, if you're at the point where you're looking at backups, Dowdle is someone that is one of the better backups to look at. They've made it clear that if Pollard goes down, he is getting all the work. Another person to sort of keep your eye on, I just thought it was kind of interesting, is Ernest Johnson, Jacksonville Jaguars. He's 1% rostered. Travis Etienne left for a little bit of time with a chest injury, and he did return. But however, when he was gone, it wasn't Tank Bigsby who got the majority of the snaps. It was Ernest Johnson. He played 43% of the snaps, and Bigsby only played 3% of the snaps. Johnson is somebody, you're not picking him up if you don't have a lot of bench space, and you're not picking him up if you're still trying to make the playoffs. You're kind of just keeping an eye on him there, because if something is going on with Bigsby or if something is going on with the ETN, it looks like they're going to go to Johnson. So keep an eye on there. Green Bay wide receivers for you after that Thanksgiving week game. Christian Watson, he's 61% rostered. He finally had that breakout game. 5 for 7, 94 yards and a touchdown. He looked great. He did catch a 53-yard pass on the first play of the game. He really set the tone for Green Bay, and he got that late third quarter touchdown. Guys, he looked great. That's the thing. If you're looking for wide receivers, he's somebody to take a look at. It is a little bit of a gamble with Green Bay. You kind of don't know who is going to be getting all the targets any given week. Sometimes it's Romeo Doubs. Sometimes it's Jaden Reed. Sometimes it's Christian Watson. So it might be a plug him into your lineup, kind of close your eyes and hope that that guy hits. Another Green Bay wide receiver on that same note, Jaden Reed. He's 47% rostered. He was 4 for 8 for 34 yards and a touchdown, and he rushed for 16 yards. He scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. He's another Green Bay wide receiver who stands a good chance to get some targets and maybe a touchdown. One other guy who is a wide receiver to look at is Josh Downs, Indianapolis Colts. He's 58% rostered. He was injured and returned this week, so some people may have dropped him if they couldn't hold on to him to win some games. He had the second most routes run on the team. He was 5 for 13 for 43 yards, which is not a great stat line, but he has potential. We've seen it before. He's had great numbers before. I think it was just kind of slowly getting back after the injury. So take a look, Josh Downs' way. Taysom Hill is probably rostered in your league. He's 70% rostered, but you should definitely take a look at him, especially with all of the injuries that are happening in New Orleans. It seems like everywhere you turn, on Sunday, there was a New Orleans Saint who was going down. Michael Thomas is out on IR. Chris Olave looks to be in the concussion protocol. Rashid Shaheed might also be in that protocol. Juwan Johnson is hurt. There's just a lot of things going on down in New Orleans. Taysom Hill had 7 carries for 26 yards. He was 2 for 2 on receiving for 55 yards. Again, everyone in New Orleans is injured. You probably need a tight end. Check out and see if he is available on your waiver wire. Someone who's a little more available, Pat Freiermuth, Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 48% rostered. He went 9 for 11 for 120 yards in this newfound Pittsburgh Steelers offense. They have the 4th best schedule for tight ends moving forward and the 9th best in the fantasy playoffs. And if they are going to continue to throw it to him like they did, it's not always going to be as good as it was last week, but for tight ends, take the win, right? One more person if you are in desperate need. Tucker Kraft, Green Bay Packers. He's only 1% rostered. He did have a touchdown. He only had 15 yards receiving, but he could be a desperate option with Luke Musgrave out. He tied for the second most routes run on the team. Again, maybe someone to just keep an eye on if you need to replace a tight end moving forward. And that is it for me, guys. Like I said, it's a little bit slimmer waiver wire pickings this week, but there you go. That was waiver wire wins with Win Daily. Again, make sure to check me out on social media. I am at Julia Papworth. All right, guys, good luck.